Hi everyone and welcome back to another video and my first ever video for 2023. I thought I would start the new year by making a video talking about my goals so that I can really make sure I've thought them out, put them out on paper, and also to be able to hold myself accountable. By putting them out into the universe and saying this is what I'm going to do, I kind of need to follow up on that. At the very least, I'm hoping to follow up on the goals I'm setting for myself, and then also looking back at this video at the end of 2023 or start of 2024. It's so scary saying that. And actually see how I've done with these goals, and from there make the new ones for the next year. New Year's often brings a sense of being able to start again and begin with a fresh slate. This can be inspiring for most people and daunting for others. It can feel impossible to make changes in our lives, such as getting into shape, learning a new language, going to the gym, etc, etc. All the usual New Year's resolutions and goals for the year. We can make pretty big or quite general goals, and then it's just impossible to break them down and work out how we're actually going to make those goals become a reality. I always used to feel like there was no point in making New Year's resolutions and that you can make a change at any point. It doesn't need to wait until Monday or the next month or the next year. I think the moment you're inspired to make a change is when you should start. Whilst that is true, I have found that there is actually some magic and momentum behind the idea of a fresh start. Katie Milkman, who is the author of How to Change, talks about the magic of a fresh start and understanding the importance of timing on behavioural change. When things feel like a fresh start, and the most famous one being the start of a new year, it gives us a concrete point in time and a launching point for the motivation to make a change. The fresh start effect can also be the start of a new school term, the Monday, the start of a week, a birthday, often seen as a fresh start for the new year in your life. It's not just about New Year's, so that is the most famous one. So I wanted to take this opportunity to talk about my goals for the year and my idea of a fresh start, in hopes that it can inspire you to think about your goals and your fresh starts for the year, things that your intentions or resolutions, whatever word you would like to use for that. That being said, I also want to be mindful and not dismissive of all of the fresh starts that will come in 2023. For an artist, this might be the start of a new semester at school if you're studying art, the start of a new sketchbook, or getting a new art supply, which always motivates me. So just make sure that even if you're making goals to start the new year with, that you're still finding opportunity for those fresh starts throughout the year to reassess your goals, or to get back up on the horse if you've kind of fallen off and lost that motivation. This year I listened to the audiobook for Atomic Habits by James Clear. One of the many things that I took away from this is that something that actually helps with behavioural change is a shift in how you perceive your identity. What would a healthy person do? A healthy person would take the stairs and maybe forgo the lift. A healthy person would go for a walk each day, etc, etc. And I think you can use that, change that shift in perspective or that narrative in your everyday life. So not only is it about what resolutions or goals you're setting, but what kind of person do you want to be? In the example of art, if you're seeing yourself as an artist or a good artist, using this narrative in your head each time is like, what is something an artist does? An artist keeps a sketchbook, puts all their rough ideas into it, not caring about who is going to see it. A good artist draws regularly and practices different things. A good artist gives himself time to be creative and have fun. A good artist needs time to rest and reflect on their ideas. I really like this narrative, and I've been trying to incorporate it in with my behavioural changes. I just thought this was something that's very interesting that I would kind of put out there because it's not really spoken about a lot, but it can really change your perspective. For the last few years, I've religiously kept a sketchbook for each year, and having that time frame or deadline to complete a sketchbook within that year has helped me to keep me motivated and to actually complete it. Usually in the first month or so, I am super motivated and often get ahead of myself and do several months worth of work in advance. Then it starts to taper off and I really struggle towards the middle of the year. Then usually I'll pick it back up again in November, December when it's due to end and have that another burst of motivation. I really feel like 2023 is now a safe and practical year to make some goals, because the last few years with the pandemic and everything, it has really felt like just getting through in survival mode, and it was almost impossible to sustain my mental health whilst making changes. There were a lot of people who thrived and able to make a lot of changes during the pandemic, you know, having to stay at home. They found themselves a lot of free time for reflection, learning new skills, doing other things that they've always wanted to try. That was not the case for me. I had to work from home for many reasons and my mental state severely declined. So, that being said, what are my goals for the new year? I'm going to focus mainly on the art goals for this year, and then I'll throw in a couple of fun personal ones at the end. So my first goal that I've set myself is to attend 6 conventions in Australia. And you can really make that goal attend more conventions or go to a convention, however you want to write it if you're using this as a guide to write your goals. But I found that I had to kind of really set a number and be specific, and that kind of helped with that. I've already looked at the ones which I can likely financially afford to do and fits in with my main work schedule. I've got these dates written in my calendar, waiting for applications to open for most of them. I'm really making a plan and cutting out time and committing to them, even if I haven't been accepted to them yet. I want to do conventions in Adelaide, Melbourne, Sydney and Perth. Sydney and Perth will be new for me, so I'm very excited about that. The second goal is that I want to do monthly work for my Patreon, which this is still a standing goal because I do have monthly mail for my Patreon tiers, but consistency has always been one of the biggest struggles, and that is in every aspect of my life, not just art-wise. Even though art is something I enjoy, there are often many obstacles that come in my way, such as burnout, my day job, mental health, physical health issues, and other personal commitments that must be met. And then of course the inspiration and art block. There's always a fine line between having deadlines and commitments to keep myself on task, motivated and accountable. Then the other side of it is feeling like a failure, feeling like I'm not doing enough or letting people down, or just in general get too overwhelmed and completely shut down. That's why it's really important to make realistic goals and set them for yourself. Again, this is something I've always struggled with, and one of my personal goals I've had for this year is to look further into ADHD, seeing if this contributes to some of my executive dysfunction. That would make a lot of sense, but it might be something else as well. My next goal is to do monthly videos for YouTube. Again, this is something that I've wanted to do for a while. And of course, consistency is my downfall for this one. I feel like monthly videos sound like a very realistic goal and hopefully can help keep me accountable with creating art regularly, but they're often so much work to do that I need a really big solid chunk of time to actually work on this, focus on creating vlogs and also tutorials, challenges, things that are more entertaining or provide more value for my audience. So if you have any suggestions of videos that you would like to see or tutorials or challenges, feel free to let me know because I'm very open and still trying to plan what videos I will be filming and creating next year. The fourth goal I have is my Cute Cryptid series. So in 2022, I launched the first series of the Cute Cryptids pins and I really loved it. I have many more designs completed for the rest of the series. I have gone through and revamped and redesigned some of them so that I'm happier, and also adjusted the size of the manufacturer. I have to do a Kickstarter for these, and of course just getting everything ready for a Kickstarter and the budgeting, all the practical side of that and planning side has what's kind of held me up. And then of course needing to make sure that the time I release a Kickstarter is going to be successful. The fifth goal I have is to finish 1 sketchbook. Now this is on my goal list every single year and will be on my list every year until forever. I've had a pretty big sketchbook to fill for 2022, so I'm thinking of a smaller one for 2023, or maybe having 2 6-monthly ones. I'm not 100% sure. We will see. I know it definitely needs to be something I can carry around with me and something that I can do mixed media work in. The 6th goal I have is to create a realistic social media schedule. There is so much pressure for artists to post on social media and to keep up with the ever-changing algorithms and the content farms that exist. I've not had much growth in my social medias this year at all, and I've tried a few things but not stuck with it. I honestly think that for me this has been a lot of wasted time and energy trying to keep up with all the platforms, and in the new year I've decided to mainly focus on YouTube and Instagram. I'm not even going to try and say, okay, well I'm going to post every day, because I don't think that's realistic for an artist to do. And even if someone can do this, I feel like the quality of their posts or reels or whatever is just going to decline. I don't want to post for the sake of posting, and I want to be able to post things that I'm proud of. I think it's about working smarter, not harder, and working within your values. I'll probably post more sketchbook things rather than just finished works, and we'll see how I go. I don't want to focus more on evolving my social media than my artistic skill. I don't want to be the biggest focus of my time. I'm hoping to post to Instagram maybe 3 times a week, but again, it'll be a lot of sketchbook stuff and behind the scenes. The 7th goal I have is to focus on the meaning in my art. I'd really like to focus on more storytelling aspects in my pieces, not just painting portraits or characters that don't tell a story and are kind of stagnant or static, if that makes sense. I want to focus on an emotion, theme, or story that engages the viewer a bit more. I get caught up in wanting to make a drawing look like the character, or just getting as many certain fandoms as possible, or characters covered in sticker designs for conventions. I really like some of my sketches that are really free, expressive, and I want to carry that over to my finished work a bit more. And I opened up suggestions to my Instagram, and one thing that a couple people said is that they actually would like to see a little bit more of my original characters, so that was really encouraging. My 8th goal for 2023 is to complete an art challenge. I would like to pick 2 art challenges and actually complete them. I've never completed Inktober before, and I've gotten pretty close many years ago. I think I got up to 20 days and then I just couldn't finish it. I don't think I'll be able to do a full illustration every day for October because there's so much other stuff going on that month. I just know that I would not be able to do that. Maybe another sketchbook slam, completing a sketchbook in a month, or potentially the 100 heads in 10 days challenge. I've done a scaled down version of that before and I enjoy doing that. I'm still not the best at drawing portraits and honestly will never have a realistic style, but these challenges are there to challenge you and it will flex my art muscles even if it's just in my style. If you have any suggestions for art challenges that you think I should do or that you're interested in doing yourself, please let me know. So they're the main big 8 goals that I've set for myself artistic wise in 2023. And here's a couple of random and fun personal goals, just in case you're interested. You can either say that they're goals or maybe like values to carry into the new year. And the first one being prioritizing rest. I'm always trying to be productive every second of the day, or if I'm not, I'm feeling super guilty about it and don't let myself rest. Rest is so important, and I think I've been super productive for so long, and whilst that served me for a long time, I don't need to work as hard as what I have been. And I know that sounds weird and counterintuitive to the hustle culture narrative that everyone on TikTok and YouTube is talking about. I work full-time in a non-art field and then run my art business on the side, but I actually produce a lot of work. Everyone talks about the 9 to 5 and then the 5 to 9, and I just don't need to be doing that anymore. I need to actually allow myself to rest and recover so I can fully enjoy the life and career that I've built. And I need to stop comparing myself to other artists on the internet that they do art full time. Another goal I have is to go strawberry picking. I went for the first time in 2021 and I loved it. I actually never thought I liked strawberries that much until we picked them ourselves, and I'm obsessed. I want to be able to book in time with myself to actually play video games. This sounds weird, right? But my whole mentality of always being productive means that I just completely switch off and don't let myself play games, even if it's something I've been looking forward to for months. Movies and TV shows, I can let myself consume, I guess, because I'm able to be doing other things at the same time, like drawing or working on some YouTube stuff. Games are a sort of mindfulness that you can only concentrate on that. But because gaming doesn't earn me money or work towards my creative goals, I've not allowed myself time to play things, and that's a huge chunk of inspiration and rest that I'm cutting out of my life. Another one I want to work on in the new year is to tackle nighttime procrastination. Since working a full-time job, which gets quite stressful sometimes, I've found myself staying up later and later at night so that I can get some me time in. But it's often not quality me time as I'm tired and just kind of half there, or not really happy with the art that I'm making at that time. Or sometimes it even just turns into a scrolling session on social media. I'd like to get better rest and wake up early in the morning so that the meantime is the first thing I get done in the day and I don't dread waking up so much. So those are my goals for 2023, mainly art goals with a couple of fun personal ones thrown in there. Let me know your thoughts. What are your goals and plans for the new year? Whether it's art, personal, business, or education wise, I'd really love to know. And posting them and having a conversation about them is actually going to help you with being more accountable and making plans for the goals to come true this year. I'll hopefully do well with these goals, and we'll be looking back at this video to reflect at the end of the year and see how I've actually done. Thank you so much as always for watching this video. I hope you have a wonderful year and make the most out of what you can. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so, and I'll see you guys next video. Bye.